This is the second segment of the RC maintenance series by RCenthusiast.com. In last week's video, we covered maintenance of the drivetrain. This week, we're covering maintenance of the chassis and suspension. We'll also show you problems that you should look for and fix. A chassis is much easier to work on when it's clean. It also makes it easier to spot broken parts. Compressed air works best to remove dust, carpet fuzz, or any other light debris. For heavier debris, especially in the crevices of the chassis and suspension, use a toothbrush or a small brush. Now, if you're dealing with heavy grime that's caked on your chassis, it's best to remove the electronics and use an all-purpose cleaner like Simple Green or this Green Works to remove the grime. With your electronics removed from the chassis, spray the all-purpose cleaner around the chassis and the suspension components. Let the cleaner soak on your vehicle and then brush it off. Once everything's broken loose, spray it off with water. You can spray it off with a hose, a sink, or a spray bottle. Now wipe the moisture off with a paper towel or a rag, and then let the vehicle air dry. Now that all the parts of the vehicle are clean, look for any obvious damage, like stress marks or cracks. Replace any parts that are damaged. Make sure turnbuckles and tie rods are not bent, as a bent rod can cause unpredictable handling. Screws and threaded hinge pins can gradually back out. Make a habit of checking the tightness of your screws. For added security, use blue Loctite. Blue Loctite will work on not only metals, but plastics. If your tie rods are straight and your screws are tight, check the camber and the toe of your vehicle, as normal driving conditions or a run-in with an obstacle like a wall can knock the adjustments out of place. Compress your vehicle's suspension, checking for smoothness. If it feels rough or gritty, clean the hinge pins and the hinge pin holes. A bent hinge pin will cause the suspension to bind up. An easy way to tell if a hinge pin is bent is by rolling it along the edge of a table. An easy way to clean the suspension holes that the hinge pin passes through is using a pipe cleaner. Now, if you lubricate the holes before inserting the hinge pin, do not use a wet lubricant like oil. A wet lubricant will hold dirt and debris and make your suspension gritty. Only use a dry lubricant like this graphite. And the last thing you need to check are the shocks. Make sure they have a smooth, plush feel. And if they do not, check the shock shafts to see if they're bent. If the oil is dark and discolored, replace the oil. Check for any leaking around the shock body. If there is, rebuild the shocks with new seals. That's all there is to it. Look for any bent metal, broken plastic, or loose screws that'll cause poor handling or improper suspension movement. That concludes the second part of the RC maintenance series by RCenthusiast.com. Next week we'll be discussing electronics and nitro components. Be sure to hit the subscribe button right up there. Click my face to view last week's video.
The light is blinding.
And visit RCenthusiast.com for more useful information like what you've seen on this video. Thanks for watching.